many people talking about organics these days, but the man who started it all is right here. Here he is, author, landscape architect, arborist, and your host, the Dirt Doctor, Howard Garrett.
All right, let's get a podcast going here. Me and the birds out here right now, and we'll see how long the quiet lasts. If we get interrupted by neighbors and blowers and things like that, we'll delay it a little bit, move to a different location, but we'll try to do it for you here. I'm doing a little different podcast this morning than I had planned. I had planned to tell you about the EarthX event that I just went to. Did a series of podcasts there. Did a podcast with a climate guy who it was kind of interesting to do because he was into recommending some of the solutions that I recommend for climate issues. The main one being to cut down on the heat on agricultural land with organic techniques. And so hopefully I'll get that stuff sent to me, and we'll show you those interviews at some point. The other people that I interviewed, one was a hemp grower, very interesting situation, a Texas hemp grower. Also talked to a lady, kind of wild and crazy lady that was a lot of fun, that's into teaching people how to improve soil up in New York. And what else did I talk about? Oh, a company, Rainmaker, a company that is in the business of consulting and selling products that improve water so that the water is more effective in the soil. Very interesting stuff, Rainmaker. I'll hopefully be able to show you those interviews maybe next time. But for today, I wanted to take advantage of the time to do a couple of things. One, let me tell you before we start about some of our main advertisers that are so important. One is the Summit company that does the mosquito dunks and the mosquito bits, and I use them in standing water. You've heard me talk about the traps that I do with 5-gallon buckets. Get real cruddy water going by throwing leaves and grass and things like that in a 5-gallon bucket of water, and then put some of the mosquito bits or dunks crushed up into the water. It forms a trap which attracts the mosquitoes and of course kills them. So it works along with the treatment on the side of putting out something different every time you treat for mosquitoes. Garlic oil one time, dry garlic the next time, BTI, the same mosquito bits soaked in water, or you can buy liquid products, cedar liquid next time, cedar in a dry form next time. In other words, change your applications for your mosquito treatment every time you do it, because the mosquitoes get used to anything that you use. With the exception of the BTI, I think that's the most effective thing you can use. Also, the Dram company, you've seen me use this device on the socials, watering some of my petunias and things. This is the newest design of their nozzle, and it's really effective. It does a real soft spray that you can see in the video, or if you need to do a real hard spray, long ways, blow something down or whatever, you simply change the dial here. Really good. Dram, D-R-A-M-M. And then of course, longtime advertiser, Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics. This is the probiotic that I take myself every morning. Judy and I both do. This is how it comes. Usually take one a day, sometimes two a day to start my day. And also good news from the same distributor, the Reg Active product that a lot of you have taken and have been disappointed it hadn't been available for quite a while, is back on the market. So check it out. We've got some ads on dirtdoctor.com, and you can get more information there. But just go to Dr. Ohhira's products, and you'll find the distributor there and information on where you can find the products and all that kind of thing. Well, the SPCA, let's do a report there. Got some good news from the past. Pecan was adopted, so thank you for that. And this week's dog at the SPCA is Serendipity. Serendipity is a 4-year-old, 75-pound, gorgeous black and white dog. She's really pretty. She's a sweetie too. She loves people and other dogs. So check out the SPCA button on the homepage of dirtdoctor.com, or you can just pull up spca.org and go that way. Well, hello, Elvis. How are you? Good to see you. I'm glad you could join us. Nellie, you can say hi too. Come on, say hi. Say hi. Nellie's a little more bashful there than Elvis, as you can see. But they're both great. Thanks for visiting. Thanks for coming out. Okay. All righty. What we're going to do today that's a little different than I had planned, I think you might like. I've been planning on doing it for a while, and that is to talk about the cheat sheet. I set up the cheat sheet a long time ago when I was on the radio, and it was just stuff that I couldn't remember easily, phone numbers and details of things. I started putting it together quite a while ago, and I talked about everything from the teas that I drink to the organic techniques to the music that was playing on the radio. Tea this morning, by the way, choked myself with it, is one that you need to try if you haven't yet. It's the cedar, the native cedar. It's like I have growing around the property here, eastern red cedar in this case, and some nettles, which is a commercial product that I bought, and also ginger in a powdered form. You can make it yourself, grow the ginger, or you can buy it at the grocery store. You can buy the ginger powder, get an organic one, of course. And this tea has quite a bit of ginger in it. It's really a good tea. So give it a shot if you haven't. My water that I recommend highly, that's also one of our great sponsors, is the Crazy Water Company, and this is the number 3 is the one I drink the most. There are several. The mineral content varies quite a bit in them, so try them all and see which one you like the best. Well, instead of going into any more detail on the EarthX, one more thing about the EarthX thing. Some of you may know that I haven't been involved in the EarthX event for a long time. We were the first couple of years. It was originally held out at Fair Park, and we were involved a little bit in the beginning there, and then it kind of changed. I guess it really started out that way. It was primarily to bring corporations in, large businesses, and people that were really into climate issues, you know, global warming back in those days is what it was called, of course. And it has now moved. It's where I was the last couple of days was at the Anatole Hotel here in Dallas, and that's where the event has been now for a while. And like I said, I interviewed some really interesting people. There were some interesting people there, but it's still a little bit of a question mark in my mind about how effective the event is. Not a lot of the organic community is there. Like I said, some of the growers, but other than me, that was it from organic practitioners here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or anywhere else in the country. A couple of the speakers, like one I interviewed, into it to a degree. So maybe it's moving in the right direction, and I'll do a podcast out of all of that information later. But now we're going to talk about the cheat sheet. The cheat sheet currently is 9 pages. It's got, made a note, I think, of how many words are in it. 9 pages, about 4,000 words. So it's a big document in alphabetical order. And I'm not going to go through every one of them. It would take too long. I'm going to hit the high points of what you might be interested in hearing and using right away. You can get a copy of this by sending me an email or go to the Ask Howard, and we will send you one electronically. We've also made this available for a while for the people of the Organic Club of America that is not really that active right now, but is involved in when we have things like the art show that we're having today. By the time you see this podcast, the art show will have already been done, but you can see the videos that we've done on the social media showing the art that we have. And if you want to come by for a private tour, you can contact us again at Ask Howard on dirtdoctor.com or info@dirtdoctor.com, either one. But the cheat sheet starts out with the first item on here is activated charcoal. And the activated charcoal I've got listed here is Garrett. I'll add some information about their contact stuff. Not so much to show you how to contact them and buy the stuff, but maybe you can help me put a little pressure on the company. It's a big commercial company, to make it more available in smaller sizes for the public. Right now, it's primarily sold in industry. It's an extremely fine textured activated charcoal, Garrett, N-O-R-I-T. And it came about from one of my listeners bringing it up as a suggestion to make my detox program that I recommend work even better. And it works great because it's such a fine textured humate. You spray it out on a property that's been contaminated, or you assume is contaminated when you buy a new piece of property or something like that. And it ties up the chemicals. It doesn't get rid of them, but it just ties them up, locks them up, and then the rest of the detox program will break them down. The second way to go, and I should put that in the cheat sheet for you, I'll add that. The second way to go to get a fine textured humate is to get one of the commercial Garrett juice products. Either one of them have a fine textured humate in, and is the easiest way for you to go. But if we could get that Garrett product available, and maybe you can help me with that, that would be even better. Agriculture Research, USDA and the ARS, I've got it on here and a phone number. I'll probably need to put an email with that. That's where I have actually gotten some research about organic techniques. You hear me talk about using paint in the tree trunk goop. The ARS, working with a university and with the USDA years ago, did research on using white paint on the trunks of trees in orchards. And that's where I got some of the information. And for people that say there's no research on some of the organic techniques, that's nonsense to begin with. But the agricultural research in the cheat sheet here gives you a place to find some of that stuff. Allergy relief, I need to add something to it too, and that's the juniper that I have in my tea. Right now I've got a product mentioned that has worked well for me in the past, and other people too, called seasonal allergy relief. And also for this cheat sheet to continue to get better and better, if you see anything you'd like to add or have a recommendation, send it to us and we'll add it in. Alfalfa hay we mentioned because it has the least chance of herbicide contamination. You'll see later on in this cheat sheet how to do the test to find out whether your suspicious compost or mulch or hay or organic fertilizer might be contaminated with clopyralid or picloram, and what to do about it, how to run the test. Alfalfa pellets, some people have recommended and asked me about, and I made a note recommended to me a couple times. Swanson Vitamins is a good place to find that information. Aloe vera, we've got some information here on aloe vera. You can read about that later. Amaryllis, same thing. Get a lot of questions about how to get an amaryllis to rebloom. We've got that listed for you in the cheat sheet, and also information on where to buy the hardy amaryllis. We have some blooming in the garden here, and I was asked about it. Just recently, but where it's available is in the cheat sheet here for you. Information on ants in general, in addition to fire ants, the things that I recommend for ants inside the house and outside, that's covered for you. Also, aphids are covered next. Again, all this stuff in alphabetical order for you. Recommendations on armadillos, for example. You can get rid of armadillos not easily, but with some of the techniques that we recommend here. First, trying real hot pepper in the area where they've worked. Traps work well. Some other kind of things. We've got that in the cheat sheet. And information on azomite, of course, is listed here and in the cheat sheet with detailed information there. To get this cheat sheet, again, just go to dirtdoctor.com and request it. We probably, I don't know if we have it as an entry in the library right now, but I will add it to the library. In the meantime, you can just simply request it to be sent to you electronically or in print. Either we can do that for people that don't do the internet stuff, although if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have that availability. But anyway, that's all the A's. In the B, of course, we've got bacterial diseases, and we cover that quite a bit, what kind of organic techniques we recommend for bacterial diseases. Number one on that list, and you're going to see hydrogen peroxide explained in several ways throughout the cheat sheet, but hydrogen peroxide mixed 50-50 with water will kill most bacterial diseases on plants. And the first one that always comes to mind there is fire blight on pears and other plants in the same family. The hydrogen peroxide from the grocery store mixed 50-50 with water is great for controlling the bacterial diseases. And you'll see in here also, and I need to emphasize it again in the cheat sheet here, once. You spray it once, not over and over and over again. If you get a bacterial disease that pops up again 6 months later or something like that, it's fine to spray it again, but you don't want to spray it as a preventative or on a regular basis at all, because it will kill beneficial bacteria as well as the pathogens. And you do it one time, it just kind of kills the bad guys and gives the good bacteria and other microbes a chance to rev up and get going and move everything the right direction. Got information for you on baking soda, using it on ball moss also is the next point. Some basil information for you, some of the varieties that I recommend. One called Obsession has a disease immunity. We've got that kind of stuff here in the cheat sheet for you. And bats, got some information about how to get more information on bats, including Bat World over in Mineral Wells, Texas. Beets, very important to treat beets and really all seed, but especially things that are hard to germinate like beets, with Garrett juice. You're going to get quicker germination, you're going to get a higher percentage of germination. I was talking to my friend who I'll have on as a guest here once we start having guests on the podcast, Randy Johnson. We were talking about plants that have thick seed coats and that you need some kind of scarification on them. Well, treating them with the Garrett juice gives you that scarification. You don't have to use sandpaper or rub them on concrete or cut them with a knife or anything like that. Just spray them with the Garrett juice, leave them on paper to dry out, and then plant. I've just done that recently with some sable minor and the seed that I give out to everybody, the buckeyes that I give out to people at my personal appearances, and that is the little buckeyes from my Mexican buckeye tree. It helps with any seed like that that's got a hard coat and is hard to germinate. The Texas mountain laurel, the red seed, perfect example. You don't have to physically damage the seed, and you just treat with the Garrett juice. And I'll kind of beef up that information in the cheat sheet for you, hard seed coats. Okay, bees we talk about to give you some information. Beneficial nematodes, we talk about the different specific species that we recommend, what they're for. Got some information on Bermuda grass for you, as you would guess. Information on birds, hummingbirds, and other kinds of birds we talk about in the cheat sheet here. Boxwood, I'm not a huge fan of boxwood like a lot of people in the landscape business are, but there's one called Baby Jim that's a good dwarf form that we've got listed here that you might want to check out. We've got books in the cheat sheet, books that I've written, books that I recommend, books that you should put in your library and that sort of thing. And we've got pretty thorough coverage there. Blackberries, the varieties that I recommend, one of the questions that I get a lot. Information on BRIT, the Botanical Research Institute of Texas. They're in Fort Worth. They do great research on plants, and if you ever have a plant that you're having trouble identifying, I hadn't been able to identify it for you, or you have a software on your phone that identifies plants, and some of those work really well these days, and probably I ought to add a note about that, but you can call, or just better still, just send a photograph of the plant that is puzzling you to BRIT, Botanical Research Institute of Texas, and they will identify it for you and give you some help. They really like doing that because through that process they sometimes come up with some new things that they need to add to their libraries over there in Fort Worth. More on the cheat sheet here, and again, you can get this, just send us an email, info@dirtdoctor.com, or use the Ask Howard button and ask for this. We will also make it, if it's not already on there, I'm not positive, but we'll get it on there right away, put it in the library on the website, and we'll continue to update it for you. So getting the most current one, you know, you can from time to time check the website or send us a note, you know, like to get the latest cheat sheet updates. Brown patch and St. Augustine grass and diseases in general we cover. Bud drop, the Garrett juice. A lot of people ask me about leaf scorch and bud drop and things like that that they're having that are more cosmetic than anything, and we give the recommendations, but the best recommendation is the sick tree treatment and Garrett juice treatment. Buffalo gnats, we've got listed here. The buffalo gnats are one of the things in black fly that the Summit products, the BTI products, will control besides mosquitoes. That product doesn't hurt any beneficials at all, just a very select number of pest insects. Buffalo grass, we've got information about it. We continue to be frustrated about buffalo grass because most of the universities don't recommend it as a turf grass. I do, because it's the best. It's the best, it's the most cost effective, it's the easiest to maintain. The negative from the universities comes in related to Bermuda grass invading it and becoming a weed to them. I don't mind the mixture. I think the mixture's fine. Plus, if you have buffalo grass and other turf grasses like Bermuda grass and things like that, and you cut back on the watering and you cut back on the fertilizing, the buffalo grass will have the advantage and push the Bermuda and things out. If you want the Bermuda, water more and fertilize heavy. Bermuda loves that, and you can have that kind of turf. But if you want the lowest maintenance, most environmentally friendly turf grass you can have anywhere in the country, it is buffalo grass, and we've got information about that. Got information in the C category of the cheat sheet: cabbage loopers, cankerworms, case bears, a bunch of different pests when we talk about the specific things that we recommend. This cheat sheet is handy, but if you really want to get into the different insects, both the beneficial insects and the pests and how to control them with the organic techniques, you need to go to the book that Malcolm Beck and I wrote called the Texas Bug Book. And it's not regionalized really, it's good coast to coast and border to border. We get a lot of questions about cats. We've got repellents that we've had some pretty good success with listed in the cheat sheet for you. And we talk about Chinese pistachio tree, because Chinese pistachio, or Chinese pistache, is a tree that I used to recommend heavily. In fact, I was one of the leaders of promoting it early on, 35 years ago or whatever it was. But we don't recommend it anymore because you never know whether you're going to have a male or female tree, and the female trees, the birds are scattering those seed, those clusters of red seed. And by the way, when the red seed shows up on a Chinese pistache, cutting that red seed off, if you want to prevent this, you can do that, because those seed are not viable at that point. They're viable when that red seed turns blue, believe it or not. And that's when the birds scatter the seed, and the Chinese pistachio trees come up all over the place. The native pistache is a much better plant than the Chinese pistache if you want to go with a pistache tree. And we have information about that in the cheat sheet as well. Some information on Christmas cactus, information on citrus trees, the two chemicals, clopyralid and picloram, are covered in the cheat sheet for you. We've got information here, as you would guess, I'm sure, about comfrey, and I recommend every gardener have comfrey in the landscape and or in the vegetable and herb garden. It's a beautiful plant, it's a beautiful perennial, and it has good flowers that can vary from white to into some purple shades. But the comfrey has a lot of uses. The old comfrey leaves going in the compost pile are great for the biological activity in the compost. And then if you make a slurry, or if you heat up some water and put comfrey leaves in it and get a liquid that you can spritz on problems on your skin, insect bites, things like that, and we cover all that in the cheat sheet. Comfrey, C-O-M-F-R-E-Y, is the way to go. And I might add a little bit more for you in that category. We've got information, of course, on compost tea and cornmeal. I don't make compost tea that much because I'm such a fan of Garrett juice, the mixture of compost tea, fine textured humate, molasses, vinegar, and seaweed. And I just use it. But compost tea is great if you make it. We've got some information for you that will help you make it. If you have a company, like the Natural Gardener in Austin that makes a real high quality compost tea, that's a fantastic way to go too. Well, we've got information on cornmeal, on gluten meal, whole ground cornmeal, all the cornmeal stuff. That is an area where I get a lot of questions, so we put a bunch of information, quick information. That's the point of this cheat sheet on the cornmeal options. Got information on cut ants. Cut ants, I've got some new information that I will add there. We've got people recommending now adding vinegar and adding orange oil to the flooding of cut out mounds. So you let that material, some people like spinosad really well, but spinosad or orange oil or vinegar, hydrogen peroxide, any of those kind of things, those organic treatments that we use, mixed with water, and then flood the cut ant mound area, and so it sinks down, does a great job of controlling cut ants. If you use cedar liquid sprays on the site, on the property, that also will help you. We've got seed information. We've got several different seed companies in the cheat sheet recommended for different kinds of crops. Deer information is in the cheat sheets, the kind of things that we recommend to repel them. One of the things that we recommend on all animal damage, we'll make a note to beef up something on it, the animal damage on plants, which includes mice and rats and rabbits and squirrels and deer during rutting and porcupines and beavers, any kind of animal damage that you have, we've got some recommendations, and they'll be in the cheat sheet. Primary thing is the sick tree treatment, get the plant healthier, and then, or at the same time, or even before, paint the wounds on the trunk or the limbs of the trees with the tree trunk goop. And the thing that we're recommending now, got the tip from a listener, is to add latex paint to whatever formula you use. We've got 4 different formulas of the tree trunk goop. And the one I recommend the most now is the 4th one. It's on dirtdoctor.com under tree trunk goop, but it's the one that has both lava sand and latex paint in it. So once you put it on the tree, limb or trunk that's being damaged by an animal, 1, it stops the damage like that, and 2, it starts the healing, the callousing and the healing of the trunk immediately. And you will be amazed that even a trunk of a young tree, even an older tree that has been totally girdled by an animal, the tree trunk goop treatment and the overall sick tree treatment will cause the wound to bridge and heal over, and the tree to survive. Okay, more on the cheat sheet here. We got information about dogs and cats, flea control that we recommend, various kind of things up to and including the Comfortis, which is a spinosad pill for the dogs. I think that it's available for dogs and cats, if I'm not mistaken. We'll put that information on there for you. Cats too. Dog treats that we recommend. We recommend, you saw my crazy dogs a minute ago, we use a dog treat that Judy and I call Crunchy Bears. It's actually called Charlie Bear Grain-Free Crunch. And they're terrific, extremely low calories, real light. The dogs love them, and they're good for training purposes or just treats. If you haven't tried it, give it a try. One of our great sponsors that you'll see in the banner ads on dirtdoctor.com, Douglas Seed King in San Antonio. We give information for contacting them. You hear me talk about them all the time. They sell any kind of grass seed, wildflower seed, any of the things that we talk about. The only thing they don't have yet, and we've been talking about it, is seed for horse herb. We're still trying to work out a way to get it available for you. The problem with horse herb, and horse herb we've got in the cheat sheet here, is easy to transplant. You can mow it when it's in flower, little yellow flowers, and spread those cuts. This one time I recommend catching the clippings. Put those clippings out somewhere else where you want the horse herb to grow, and lo and behold, it'll start growing. It also transplants very easy. Take a little sharpshooter shovel, stab under it, dig a clump of it up, move it over and plant it in a new place. You'll never lose a clump of horse herb. Finding the seed to plant, not yet available, but if anybody can figure it out, it'll be Douglas King seed down in San Antonio, Texas. Fairy ring, different diseases, fireplace ashes, and I'm going to beef that up a little bit because I've got a friend now that's been doing organics and is really using fireplace ashes a whole lot more than I've even recommended in the past. A lot of people, most of the university people, tell you to stay away from fireplace ashes. There's no good use. We'll have the good information for you on the cheat sheet about that. It's great to use when you're planting a tomato. Throw it in the bottom of the hole, put the tomato on top of it for an example, and there's other ways to use fireplace ashes as well. It's not anything that needs to go in the trash. Fleas and heartworms we cover for you. Food scraps we cover for you. What should go in the compost pile we cover on the cheat sheet. Basically anything that was once alive goes in the compost pile. And you'll hear people say don't put greasy foods or salty foods in the compost and that sort of thing. Well, if it can't go in the compost pile, you sure as heck shouldn't have been eating it in the first place. So Anything that you eat, anything that is once alive can go in the compost pile. Do you have to manage some of that stuff a little differently? Keep the wild animals out of it and all that? Yeah, sure. And we cover all that for you. Some of it's in the cheat sheet here. Some of it, you'll find more details on dirtdoctor.com. Garrett juice, of course, we cover in the cheat sheet all the different iterations of it. Ginger we cover. Grafting we cover. The main thing that we've got in grafting is publications that we recommend. I'll add a little bit more. There's another publication since I wrote this cheat sheet that I need to add here for you. We cover beneficial insects. We cover places where you can get more information, of course, on organic techniques and all, like the Herd Museum. They're in here. Nonprofits that we recommend are covered in the cheat sheet pretty well for you. Horses, we've got some information for you on different things that we recommend. House plants are in the cheat sheet, things that we recommend there. The fertilizer, of course, we recommend across the board, including for plants inside the house, including orchids, is the Garrett juice. And of course, Garrett juice formulas, the concentrates and the basic stuff covered here in the cheat sheet for you. In other words, this is just a document that really goes through and covers all of the main things that I get asked about and talk about all the time. Just a real easy way for you to find it. You can always follow it up, get more information from the books and from dirtdoctor.com and all that. And we'll cover in more detail as we go through more podcasts. We cover irrigation, we cover different diseases like iron chlorosis. Iron chlorosis is a good one to talk about briefly. I don't recommend the iron products that are on the market hardly at all, because most of them, if not all of them, come from waste materials from the steel industry, the metal industry, and a lot of it can be some pretty nasty stuff. We can balance iron out with the organic techniques that we recommend all the time, up to and including probably the best one, which is the azomite product that you hear me recommend all the time. They are running banner ads on dirtdoctor.com. You can see their banner ads and get their information, how to contact them there. To azomite.com. I think they have another website that you'll see on dirtdoctor.com too, for easy connection there. We've got information on one of my favorite groups of introduced plants, the Japanese maples. You'll see behind me an introduced plant too. That's the oak leaf hydrangea. You can see the white flowers are happening now. We're in the middle of April with this podcast, and you get some pretty good red fall colors sometimes with this plant too. It's deciduous, bare in the winter, so plant it with some other evergreen things for best results. Hazardous household waste we cover and give you some information there about how to contact people and how to deal with those issues. Of course, we talk about hydrogen peroxide in here a lot. Irrigation, we cover Johnson grass. Johnson grass is an easy tip here for you. Mow it. Johnson grass, which I get asked about a lot, and the cities and the state of Texas and a lot of the counties waste so much money trying to maintain Johnson grass by spraying Roundup, spraying glyphosate. Let me make a stronger point about this. It's wasting money. It's throwing toxic chemicals out there and doesn't do a thing, because what you see around Texas is you see them spray it, you see it turn brown, not all of it, doesn't get it all, and then you see them go back and mow it. So why not mow it first? And then mow it maybe once more with the money you saved, not spraying the toxic chemical all the time. If you mow Johnson grass on a regular basis, keep it low, or graze it low, it'll go away. Can't take that, doesn't like it. Doesn't need the toxic chemicals. Kale and clay we cover in the cheat sheet for you here. The Kerr Center for Sustainable Agriculture, and there's quite a few things like that. Nonprofits that we recommend and why we recommend them, what kind of research they're doing. The Kerr Center up in Poto, Oklahoma. By the way, there's another Kerr Center in Texas. I need to add that for you. They do research on grazing kind of things and livestock and that sort of thing. The Kerr Center in Poto, Oklahoma does research on mushroom growing, on cover crops, on other organic techniques. Real good place for you to get some additional business. That's in our cheat sheet here that you can get for no cost, no obligation at all. We got information on lava and lava sand, of course, information on household insects. We got information on lice. For example, the best tip right there that you're going to get in the cheat sheet is you have any friends or relatives or kids that ever have lice, don't give them the toxic chemicals. Worst thing you can possibly do, vinegar. Vinegar on the scalp totally gets rid of the lice. It's all you need to deal with. And rinsing the hair is good for your skin too. I use vinegar a lot, and I don't have lice. I don't remember ever having lice, but I rinse with apple cider vinegar after taking a shower in a lot of cases. I also take the soap that the Dr. O'Hara's people distribute. If you go to EFI, which is the distributor of the Dr. O'Hara's products, the soap that they have, and I sometimes have, almost always have samples when I do personal appearances and lectures, the soap that they have is just fantastic. So check it out. Information about it is in the cheat sheet here for you. Information on lightning strikes and how to know when a lightning strike is detrimental and when it's not that big a deal. In a lot of cases, well, just to tell you real quick, if lightning goes down the outside edge of a tree, knocks the bark off in a strip, you get a little cosmetic damage and you get a little stress put in the tree. Do sick tree treatment, throw a little of the tree trunk goop on the wound if you want to so it'll heal quicker, but most of the time, in that case, lightning strike is not hurt the tree at all. The tree will come right back. If the tree comes down through the middle of the trunk and blows the bark completely off of the trunk, probably going to die, probably going to be dead. So we talk about that in the cheat sheet here. Information on mice and rats, on moles, lots of information on molasses, all the different kinds of molasses that you can get and use and how to use the molasses is in the cheat sheet. Information on mosquitoes and moths and mulches, lots of information about the mulches. And I'll improve that a little bit just to make a quick best and worst mulches. Just real quickly, the best mulches, as you've heard me talk a lot, if you've heard me, are the shredded tree trimmings coming from native trees, second best coming from any trees. The worst mulches are the dyed, ground up lumber products and the pine bark, believe it or not. There's much better choices, much better ways to go. We'll add even more detail there for you. National Wildflower Center, information about how to contact them. Native American Seed Company, the Native American plant chapters, in other words, all the nonprofit places that you can contact that are into this native stuff and organic information. Noble Foundation up in Ardmore, Oklahoma, another one that's covered in the cheat sheet here. We've got in the O category, we've got information on oak wilt. Oak wilt is fixable. It's not fixable with the chemicals recommended by the universities. It's fixable with the organic techniques, the sick tree treatment, and all that is covered in the cheat sheet that we're talking about today. Some of the things I've run into in my art, doing my abstract art, that you have seen some of, you can see it on the socials. You can see a little video of me going through the art studio prior to the art show and see some of the stuff that I've done and some of the metal sculpture that Ace Cordell has done. And that information is for you both in the cheat sheet about the art and on dirtdoctor.com. But one of the things I was going to get around to here, there's a paint preservative I've run into that's really good. If you don't know about it, some of the stuff I paint, you've seen it in the garden here, I use outside. I put my art outside, and there's a preservative called Mini Wax Polycrylic Water-Based Protective Finish. It's a mouthful, but it's in the cheat sheet here, and it's worth getting the cheat sheet just for that, because you can cover a painting that's going to go outside or some painting on the building that you want to protect a little bit more with that stuff, and it's terrific. It doesn't hurt the finish of the paint, including a piece of art, and it preserves very well. Again, Mini Wax Polycrylic Water-Based Protective Finish, and it's in the cheat sheet here under Paint Preservative. Got information on palm trees, peach trees, pears, pecans, pennyroyal, you know, in other words, just little tips and suggestions on all of this stuff. And if we, you know, if this spurs some kind of additional question for you, send it to us. The easiest way to go, again, is the Ask Howard button on dirtdoctor.com. We'll add it not only as an entry in the library on dirtdoctor.com, but also as part of the cheat sheet here that we're talking about today. Okay, all the fruit trees are covered. Poinsettias, information on those. A lot of people ask me if you can keep poinsettias growing. We've got poinsettias growing at the office out in the flower beds that have been there for years, that just came from seed from poinsettias going to flower. Yeah, they'll grow we're here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They'll grow outside. They're not going to produce the big colorful bracts near as much, because you're not controlling the darkness long enough like they do in the greenhouse situations. But will they grow outside and last and come back year after year? Yeah, you bet they will. And we've got information about that. Poison Center, got a contact information for you. In other words, a lot of the contact information organization, contact places will be covered for you in the document here that we're talking about, in the cheat sheet document. Potting soil, we cover the recipe that I recommend the most will be covered and updated for you in the cheat sheet. We cover raccoons and rats and different animals under R. We also cover one of the peas that I've recommended in the past. It's hard to find, called Red Ripper peas. My favorite one. It's sometimes hard to find, but Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, for example, is in the cheat sheet here as a source for you. Joe Robinson's book, Why Grass Fed is Best. We've got several of the books not only put together in the cheat sheet, but also listed alphabetically for you. Information on some of the roses that I've had the best luck with, and the fact that the sick tree treatment is the solution for rose rosette. Saltpeter information. Saltpeter, if you don't know, is the treatment that I recommend a lot of times for treating stumps. Drill holes in them or cut it with a chainsaw, put saltpeter in there, and either put burning embers if you want to do that and smolder it away, or just let it end with the cutting and the drilling and the saltpeter, and that'll kill stumps for you. We're getting a little background noise. It's not too bad. Next door, people firing up. I'll try to get on through this here so you can get this from this one activity here. In the S's, besides saltpeter, we're also talking about scalping lawns. We don't recommend that other than in situations where you're going to be overseeding something in the fall, in September, planting some cool season grasses. In general, I don't recommend scalping the lawn. I recommend just mowing it maybe one level a little bit lower in the fall and letting it go from there. Pretty simple. We've got information on the cheat sheet about snakes, about spider bites. Remember, comfrey is the treatment for spider bites, up to and including the brown recluse spider bites. Got information on sprayers that we recommend and don't recommend and why. We talk about one of the squashes that is pretty much immune to the squash diseases. People ask me about squash vine borer and squash beetles all the time. Plant some Tatumi We got jets and everything coming by, but that's going to work out okay. Tatumi squash is in the cheat sheet. T-A-T-U-M-E. Not going to have those squash problems with Tatumi. And also, if you plant the other kind of squash plants, a tip for you that's in here, plant more plants. For some reason, Sam Cotner taught me this years ago, that if you plant more of your squash plants, you're going to have less problems with squash problems. Tree trunk goop, of course, we cover more on various diseases. We cover vinegar for you in detail, all the different recommendations that I have for vinegar, and a lot on wildflowers, treating wood things in your tool chest and your tool shed, what we recommend for all that. Some information on yews and yuccas. And in the Z category, of course, we're going to be talking about zeolite and how to use it. Zeolite's a great organic tool, and we'll talk about how to use it. Easy way for you to find it. Xylitol, we're talking about how terrible it is. It's an X, and if you don't know it, xylitol, which is in a lot of chewing gums and fast foods in general, look for that as a sweetener, and don't buy the product. And if you do, make sure that you keep it away from your pets, especially dogs. Dogs are very, very sensitive to xylitol. It can kill them. And there's a lot more. I've gone through it pretty quickly, but again, it's a 9-page document now. By the time I add just the things I've added today, there's probably going to be at least 10 pages for you. It'll be in the library on dirtdoctor.com. If you want to get it right away, send me an email to info@dirtdoctor.com. I'll send it to you direct. If you can't find it on the website, but we'll have it on the website for you. We'll continue to update it. And if you want it, if you need it mailed to you or mailed to somebody that doesn't have technical capabilities, that's fine too. Just send us a self-addressed stamped envelope and I'll send you a hard copy that way. And how you do that is send it to Post Office Box 140650, Post Office Box 140650, Dallas 75214. Well, that's pretty much what I had for you today. I'm going to do a little gardening myself today. Weather, as you can see, it's overcast today. We've gotten quite a lot of rain. The weather's been beautiful. We've got a lot of things going on. I may swing the camera around and show you just a quick review of some of the things that are going on here. You may have already seen it in the socials. If you go to Facebook, if you go to dirtdoctor.com, click on the Facebook button up at the top of the page. You can go to the social media and we'll have videos and feedback there. If you also, an easy way to go is on the home page of dirtdoctor.com. If you click on the button that says YouTube, it'll take you to the YouTube videos where there's a whole bunch of videos that I've done there, going back, some of them 30 years. Some of them are a little grainy and all, but the information's still pretty good. And you can see all the new stuff, including the new podcast right there as well. For those of you that are into organics, enjoy your healthy gardens. For those of you that aren't on board yet, come on in. The water is fine. And I will give you a little quick tour here. If it doesn't work out very well, Maggie will edit it out for you. But let me show you a little bit of the garden here before we go away. You can see some of my outdoor art there. Well, let me go back here for just a second. This is one of those trees I've talked to you about before. This is Carolina buckthorn. It's a great one. It's a native Texas tree. You can see one of the little ginkgos over there. It comes from my big ginkgo tree. I discovered working with the little ginkgos like that here in the garden that they will grow in sun or in full shade. That's my favorite palm back over there in the corner. That's big tooth maple there, getting going really well. But that palm is a palm that can take 50 below zero or 120 degrees. It's the needle palm. You see the petunias doing really well. My little dwarf Japanese maple that's in the Fabulous Tree slideshow on dirtdoctor.com. One of the little Mexican buckeyes that I've planted and grown from seed. And a little sable minor there that's great. We're growing some from seed right now. Another one of the trees in the fabulous tree slideshow that you can see right on the homepage of dirtdoctor.com. Click on it and see. That's the crooked ginkgo. You may see in the socials the recent venture of Elvis climbing up there chasing a squirrel, and then the tree back there blocking my big ginkgo. That it's way back there. It's gotten gigantic. With the tree in front of it is a tree I recommend. It's an introduced tree that's great. It's the Perodia, the genus. It's the Persian ironwood. And again, this is the oak leaf hydrangea. It is a good one. That's all I had for you today. I will talk to you next time. Check on dirtdoctor.com or the socials to keep up with what all I've got going on, and we'll see you next time.